Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. Alright folks, today we're going to take a look at Lockheed Martin, ticker symbol LMT. This was requested by a commenter in a previous video. If you have a ticker that you'd like me to cover, please put the ticker symbol in the comments below, just the ticker symbol, not the company name, and I will reply to you when I see it and add it to the list. If a few days go by or a week and I haven't responded, please go ahead and drop me the comment again, and that'll put it back to the top of my queue because I may have missed it if I don't respond within a week or so. All right, so Lockheed Martin, having drawn down quite a bit before it or after it tested this near 400 mark back in May, and at this point sitting pretty low here, we see on the data side of things with Ortex 11 buys and 9 holds from analysts, but with a return potential of nearly 25%, which is really, really high for a stock that is so highly valued also. Not to say it's overvalued, but just say it has a large market cap. So that's somewhat interesting. Unfortunately, in the last 12 months, there have been quite a few sells coming out and no buys from insiders, so that potentially not giving a lot of confidence to retail or institutions that could be coming in with some larger scale orders and bolstering the price that way. It looks like those predominantly came out actually in the last 6 months even. So, not a good look from insiders. I mean, I pause because there could be many, many reasons why people are selling as an insider, but, certainly investors look for that as partially a signal of what the sentiment is inside of a company. So the degree to which that's persuading anyone, that could be having a detracting effect as well. So we have analysts on one side, we have insiders on the other side, and then in sort of the world of nothing, meaning no impact, short sellers. So thankfully, stock's been drawn down quite a bit, but short sellers are not adding any distortion to that sell down. Now, a couple of things. Now, I'm going to look quite a bit left because there's not a ton to draw from since we've just mostly been moving down here recently. So if we look back and see where there was pretty significant price activity previous to this, so obviously we have this 321 mark that had held support previously. We have this area here, which was support here, as well as support here, as well as flip from resistance to support here. And so that could play a good factor. If we look, let's see if we want to be all the way up here. This certainly is a good zone. I'm trying to see if there's something around here or not. Yeah, there's probably a level right around here. I'm going to take these MAs off for the moment because it's just adding a bunch of noise. It's hard to peek through. So these are the zones that I'm looking at for potential support and resistance as we move through. And there are potentially some pretty good areas of run room. Now, I know stock being so heavily priced, so high price, that's movements of $10 aren't the huge percentage gain that they would be if it was a third of the price. But sometimes there's just stickiness in a lot of these levels if you're looking to reverse a trend. So this is the way that I see it currently. 2 support zones to the downside, 332 and 321. Sitting right now at 341, as you see, and I wouldn't necessarily say that it has completely lost the support of this I'm just trying to move over so I can see the exact target, 343.28, this purple zone here, until that turns that clearly into resistance or continues to move away from it. I would say it could certainly make an effort to come back and regain it. Now, obviously, there's not been a lot of bullish activity in Lockheed Martin recently, so I don't know if it will, but obviously it's a pretty big stretch down to 332 if it can't catch any wave of bullish momentum along the way. Drop of another $10 is certainly nothing to sneeze at, but we'll just have to see what the stock gives us. Now, if we pull back out here a little bit, to the upside, the targets that I would have if it is able to turn around, or eventually when it does turn around, 348, 359, and 365. So there's a pretty good run room between 348 and 359 after we get out of this like little bit of tightness in the 340s. But the 350s may not give a whole bunch of resistance, so that could be an area to look at if and when the trend does reverse. We want to see if there's any trend lines here to take a look at on the downside, kind of coming from here, it looks like. Yeah. So we kind of catch most of this move. I would draw it pretty tight in here. I might want to move this a smidge. So I do think it's worth, maybe we'll just start it here. I'm just being stubborn. See, sometimes I know my tendencies. Just being stubborn. Okay, so I would say we're right about here on this down trend line. So this is also going to, intersect with this 332 zone. So I would potentially be looking strongly at that on the daily chart. The MACD obviously also looking like it's not making any bullish move at the moment. You just see a sort of a sea of red here. It's kind of surprisingly void of any bullish pushback at all. And on the upper downtrend side of things, so it's certainly not a parallel channel. It's something more like this, these sort of like spotlights, as I call them, where the rays are sort of getting further apart as opposed to staying parallel or closing in on each other, which is strongly preferable to a spotlight type scenario. But this does put into play the possibility that's in this area here, there is bounce potential that could come into play. I don't know, but this is the first spot that I would look for it to potentially bounce if it gets down here. This is just not very far away at all. It's high 340s down to about 334, 333. And if it's able to bounce there and work its way out of this downtrend, that would certainly be a good sign for the bulls. I don't know why this keeps moving around on me. Okay. And obviously the first thing to regain there would be that 343, especially if it moves sideways or slightly down and mostly sideways for a while. But breaking out from this trend would be the first step in reversing things. Now let's pull those MAs back in. We'll see if they're providing any additional clarity. I mean, at this moment, really just adding additional resistance and bearish pressure. You see the 50 ready to cross over the 200, or just having cross over the 200. So it's in a fully bearish formation at the moment with some fresh bearish momentum coming into play, and certainly just sort of seems to be picking up steam. So hopefully if it comes down, this 332 provides a solid zone. If it falls through this downtrend line and comes down even steeper or faster, then that would be a little bit concerning as well, and might put it in a situation where it's looking at that 321 zone like we had talked about before. I mean, 'cause I don't have a position at the moment, I don't think. I did have one a little while back, but I think that I'm out of it. I must be out of it if this is what's been happening. There's no way that I would have held it through that. But just to say, concerning for the bulls in Lockheed. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at on the data and on the chart side of things. Good luck if you're in this one. I certainly wish you the best, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.